What's the latest on the PGA Tour? What course do you need to get out and play? What's the latest from the local golf pro? It's time for On the Green, presented by Alice Windows, Doors, and More on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. Presented by Verizon, Milwaukee's #1 network, broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Yes, another edition of On the Green on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Alice Windows, Doors, and More. Joining us now, it is John Morton, author of AGT Golf Book. Follow him on Twitter at JohnMorton215. John, how are we doing today, my friend?
Fantastic. Appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Awesome, John. Yeah, I really appreciate you jumping on the green on the Mason Crosby Show. One of my favorite segments because we get to talk a little bit of golf. So just tell everybody a little bit about your golf story, like how you got into the game, where you're at and kind of your PGA Pro journey, and then then we'll just kind of dive in from there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And again, thanks for having me on today, Mason. It's been a long time. You and I've kind of interacted through our mutual friendship with Purcell Farms and Farm Links and Vapor.
That's
Ministry.
right.
That's great to finally get to chat with you. But
yeah,
awesome. So I've been playing golf for almost 3 decades now. Grew up in Philadelphia and became a PGA professional for about a decade. A club professional, that is, not on tour, but running golf courses, managing golf courses, things of that nature, and left the industry a few years back. And at the time that I left the industry, I really started to actually dive into golf history and learning all about the origins of the game, not just here in the U.S., but the origins of the game over in the U.K., in Scotland, and in St. Andrews. And that's really where the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years has led me is over to Scotland quite a few times. I'll actually be going over literally next Friday again.
Oh, man, come on. I was just talking about a Scotland-Ireland golf trip with one of my buddies yesterday, so I'm going to get another one on the books, yeah.
Absolutely. So been diving into the history of the game over the last few years and more specifically collecting artifacts and memorabilia, related to the history of the game. And earlier this year, you mentioned AGT, that stands for Old Grey Tune, which is kind of a nickname or a moniker for St. Andrews in Scotland.
Oh, wow.
So I founded a book publishing and distribution company here in the United States, specifically to help authors overseas get their books over here into the U.S. market. So I founded Old Grey Tune Golf Books and Collectibles to help bring the history of the game from overseas here to us in America.
Well, I'm going to jump in here because now you brought it up. Like, what's the coolest piece of memorabilia you got from the history of golf now here, John? Because I don't know if we should have saved this for the end, but now I'm curious because I don't even know. Like, do you have one of Tiger's red polos? Like, what are artifacts?
I think
here?
It's old school, and I think I saw one of your more recent ones. Is that golf ball? Is that your favorite right now?
So that is undoubtedly my favorite, and it shot up to the most prestigious item in my collection, undoubtedly. So, Tommy, to your question, I actually just posted yesterday and shared the story of something that I just acquired last week. And I will actually literally be flying over to London next Monday for 24 hours just to be able to pick this item up and come back with it.
Wow. That's awesome.
I bought a golf ball, Tommy, from that was made 175 years ago. By old Tom Morris.
That's so cool. What?
So the thread that I posted on Twitter really gives a lot of the history about the golf ball, but old Tom Morris was kind of the grandfather of the game of golf over in Scotland. He really helped kind of bring it through the 1800s and make it a modernized game. But it's a golf ball that he made himself around 1850, give or take a year or two.
And what is it made out of? Is it hay? Like, well, I can't. I'm looking through this right here, and I'm like, it's like yellow. Like, is it what? I don't even know what golf balls are made of now. I guess like some sort. I just thought they were like rubber bands, just like infinitely tied together or something. What is it made out of?
Yeah, so the
Tied
golf ball
together.
that I just bought from about 1850, it's leather on the outside, and it's actually stuffed inside with feathers. It was actually
What?
bird feathers that were used to stuff inside, and through a quite literally like a recipe, if you will. Um, Very, very skilled artisans in the early and mid 1800s used a very detailed process to make golf balls with leather and
Wow.
bird feathers, quite literally.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what it's made out of.
if it's held up 175 years, right? I mean, it's got to be made out of
Seriously.
something pretty. Yeah, it's incredible. You should go follow him on Twitter, John Morton 215. He's got a nice thread on it here. Doesn't tell me that it's not made out of hay, so I don't know why it would have been a dumb question. But just looking across it right here,
Tommy's
it
eyes are
cool.
big. I
Yeah.
feel like Tommy's like really fascinated with this right now, which I am as well. I mean, that's crazy to think, and I can't imagine golf balls today. I don't know how long they last, but it's like to think that it's lasted that long and
Yeah.
been passed around, and now you've located it and you're going to get this item. When are you doing that next week?
Yeah, I'm flying over Monday night, arriving Tuesday,
Oh,
and I'll be
man.
in London for all of about 6 hours. But I'm gonna. I decided this morning, actually, kind of last minute, that I was going to do that. So I'm going to document it all on Twitter, kind of do kind of some live tweeting, essentially, throughout the travel. But yeah, literally 24-hour trip just to fly over to pick that up.
That's so awesome. So then you're going to head up to Scotland after that, right? Is that the plan?
I'm coming back home, and then I'm going back.
You're
over
going to
on
come
Friday.
back
Yeah.
and then go, wow, okay.
Well,
so you're
my
not
wife
even
is
gonna,
coming
okay.
with me to Scotland, so I can't go
Okay.
over and not come with her and have her travel separately. So yeah, I'll come back over on Tuesday night, and then Friday afternoon we fly over to Scotland for 10 days. Actually.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, let me ask you a little deep dive into how your PGA being a club professional, that journey, and then we'll dive back into the AGT golf book and like kind of some of the special things that you've been able to showcase and get from overseas to highlight the history of the game, because I'm a big history buff. I love all of that. That's why I love going to Scotland, going to Ireland, going and just seeing where all of these things started. It helps me to appreciate playing the game every time I get out there. At least that's what I tell Molly, my wife, is like, I just appreciate the game. I have to do this in honor of the ones that came before me. But yeah, tell everybody like what the different levels of PGA professionals are. And like, because like I saw in your thing, you were a PGA Class A, right, pro. So just maybe like just tell our listeners like what that journey looks like and how you become a PGA professional at the club level.
Yeah, that's a great question. And when it comes to the PGA, what we're really talking about for your listeners, just to clarify, it's the PGA of America. The PGA of America is different from the PGA Tour. So the PGA of America represents the 28 to 30 plus thousand club professionals that are running your golf courses on a daily basis locally. They literally run the golf shop. They manage the staff. They run tournaments. They fill the golf shop with all the merchandise that's in there. They teach lessons. It encompasses a PGA professional wears a lot of hats at a golf course, as you guys know with your various club pros that you've had in your past on the green sessions or interviews. So when it comes to a PGA professional, though, that you've got Class A and Class B. Class B is basically a PGA professional in training. It's somebody that's going through the ropes. They're in the early years of their career, and they're going through some kind of formalized education, essentially on-the-job training as well, to kind of hone their skills and learn the ways of a PGA professional. And then once you go through a series of tests and exams, one of which is a playing ability test with the PGA of America, and you pass all of those, then you're able to get elevated to your Class A PGA status, which is, in a sense, kind of in a light metaphor here, kind of like a doctor getting his PhD. It's that certification that helps people understand, helps outsiders understand, hey, this individual is trained, they're educated, they're knowledgeable, and they know exactly what they're talking about.
It's like you're a black belt in golf, John, at that point.
In a lot of ways, yeah. In a lot of ways.
How long does that process usually take?
There's two different ways somebody can do that. Either through college, through like a formalized 4-year degree, where over those 4 years they're doing various internships, but it's a full bachelor's degree. That's what I did going through college. But
wow,
a lot of
nice.
club professionals will do it just as they may leave college and become an assistant professional, or just join the golf staff at a nearby club and then want to go through that process. That might take them 2 to 3 years. But it's some
process.
pretty intensive online training and classes and exams they would go through.
Awesome. We got John Morton, founder of AGT Golf Book. You can find him at John Morton 215, former PGA Club Pro and collector of all things, the history of golf. So let's dive into this venture you're on now with the AGT Golf Book. Just kind of tell everybody like what it is and like how they can maybe go find these historical books and these books that maybe we don't have ultimate access to all the time. Just kind of tell us that journey and how people can get hooked into that.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I was fortunate to make a trip over to Scotland with my family, with my wife, my brother, and both my parents for my father's 70th birthday. We took them over there to kind of celebrate, kind of go explore the heritage and history of our family, trace that back to Scotland. But we also went to St. Andrews and went to the 150th Open, British Open that was there that week.
So awesome.
And while we were there, I was able to make a number of connections with some historians and some authors that I've gotten to know through social media, and stayed in touch with them. And last year, my wife and I went back over to Scotland, just the two of us, for a golf trip. And I was able to reconnect with a number of those individuals and really kind of get to know them at a much deeper level. And one of the things that I learned while I was with them was the challenge that they have with sharing and spreading, quite literally, the history of the game, just because of the cost.
So interesting.
The high cost of shipping, essentially, for an American buyer to buy one of their books from overseas. If you buy one book, shipping is going to be a lot of money. It's going to be very costly. So I worked with a number of authors to kind of form this company that I founded back at the beginning of the year, and I'm importing all of their books from St. Andrews, from Scotland, from the UK and beyond, here into the U.S. so that Americans can have easier access to the history of the game. Because that's really what I enjoy and appreciate most, is being able to share the history of the game, being able to not just collect these artifacts and memorabilia, but being able to share the stories of them. Because, Mason, to your point, what really kind of strikes a chord with a lot of people is when you can make a connection with an individual that lived 150, 175, 200 years ago. And being able to bring that history here is something that I'm really proud of.
John Morton joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. And just honestly, like, no shade at any of our previous guests. This one's like easily the most engaged I've been right now on this. I'm all in on it.
Tommy is locked in.
But I have a question now here, like getting back into the game today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how you are now. Like, when you're first of all, I guess, like, what's your handicap here? Because Mason likes to brag about his handicap all the time.
Ask that. Yeah, I'm like, what's your handicap
if
index?
you're collecting
I
the
don't
100,
brag about it. Relax.
I mean, the number keeps changing every time you do too. So, what's your handicap, John?
I'm about a 3 handicap, give or take.
Ooh, okay. Sounds like it'd be a good match between you and Mason any given week, whenever he decides
that's
3.
where I'm at right now. Yeah, when I decide I'm 3.
So, like, looking at the game today, like, what similarities do you see now from the history of the game, and then now how has it evolved into what it has been? And looking at it, like, golf, the popularity of golf over the last 5 years seems like it's exponentially grown, right? During the pandemic, like, that was one of the better things for golf because it was one of the still things going on. You could go outside, people could still go do that activity. But, like, looking at what the history has been, all the way from a 175-year-old golf ball to now today, like, what similarities are still there other than, like, maybe the etiquette and what goes into it, but, like, that you see still implemented that is very important in today's golf?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. And what the first thing that comes to mind when you say what's similar between the game today and back then is a lot of the things that we argue about today. Uh, the game argued about, golfers argued about, rules officials argued about back then too. Distance being a good example of that. People say today that
Really?
the golf ball goes too far, that clubs, make the ball go too far. That argument has been made several times over as new versions of golf balls have been created over the course of the history of the game. History repeats itself is the first thing that I
For
would say.
sure.
Sure.
Um, but the other thing, kind of along similar lines, from a history repeats itself standpoint, is new types of clubs coming out. People talk about. I shared a thread a couple of weeks ago about a variety of different unique one-off prototype clubs that were created about 1900, so 125 years ago.
Wow.
And people talk about Bryson DeChambeau today being so innovative in his unique style of creating all irons that are one length, and creating a putter that goes straight down into the head. He's not as outside the box as people think he is, because a lot of those things were also done 100 plus years ago.
Wow,
So
that's
the
cool.
game has reinvented itself many times over, but all the while kind of retaining, Tommy, to your point, the etiquette has remained, the foundations of the game have remained in terms of many of the original rules, and kind of the aura of the game has really remained over the course of history.
All right, man. Hey, we will have you on again, and I want to I actually want to deep dive into like some of these historical books and like some of the things that you're bringing over, because I think Tommy and I could talk to you about this the rest of the show. But unfortunately, we have to get to the next segment and get on a break here. But I tell our listeners before you go, kind of plug your stuff. I want to know what courses you're playing over in Scotland. So, just let me know where you're playing and what you expect to shoot, on all these historic courses. So finish with that. Tell us, where we can find all your stuff and all the courses you're going to hit whenever you go to Scotland next week.
Yeah. So on both Twitter and Instagram, you already mentioned my handle at John Morton's, JOHNMORTON 215. Same handle on both platforms. And then Old Gray Tune Golf Books, my company, is if you find me on there, you can find the link to the website. But the website is oldgreytunegolf.com, and that's spelled AULDGREYTOUN. So it's a little bit of a unique spelling, but that goes back to the Scottish origins of the game, and kind of that Scottish version of the spelling. So oldgreytunegolf.com is where you can find a lot of those books and be able to dive into the history of the game. And then to your other question, Mason, real quick, the courses I'm playing over there, we're going to put in for the ballot for the old course at St. Andrews, but we are lined up to play the new course as well as Jubilee right there in town.
I played Jubilee. That's a tough one. Honestly, I think it's the toughest course there in St. Andrews.
I'm excited about Jubilee. I'm excited about that. We didn't play that last year when we went, but that's going to be fun. We're also playing Crail nearby, and then we're going over off the west coast of Scotland to a small island, actually, to be able to play the island of Arran, be able to play a number of courses, including Shiskin, which is a very, very well-known 12-hole golf course, which is pretty cool. And then we finished the trip at Prestwick, which is the home of the
original Open. Yeah,
exactly. We're playing 36 holes at Prestwick on our final day, so it's going to be a fun trip.
All right. Well, I'll see you in Scotland next week. So
join me. Would love it.
Are you going to beat your wife? That's my next question?
No. I may be
she's a stick, huh?
I may be a 3 handicap, but she's a +1, and she plays professionally. So she.
All right.
Golf is a humbling game for me. it's a humbling game.
Well, that'll be fun. Well, John, hey, really appreciate you joining on the Green segment presented by Windows Alice and Alice Windows Doors and More. Yeah, just really appreciate you jumping on. We'll have you again on another time to talk about all the history of golf. That was excellent. Really appreciate it, John.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, guys, for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you. John Morton joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show for another edition of On the Green, presented by Alice Windows, Doors, and More. Mason, we got a surprise for you, it sounds like, on the other side here when we get to Drew Wagner. That's what I was told to tell you. That's all I know, honestly. All right?
I love surprises.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Drew Wagner up next.